Hello, I'm Mark,
I'm Casey.
and today we're going to talk a little bit about megachargers and Tesla semis and whether or not they're coming anytime soon. But first, roll that title.
Mega. You're watching the Tesla Life Express.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Today we're going to talk a little bit about megachargers and Tesla semis. Recently, Tesla had submitted to the Biden administration a proposal for building a charging network for truck traffic. A little bit different than what they've already done with regular cars. They've built, the massive supercharger network that's across North America and the world at this point. But the Biden administration wants to start to push electric trucking, and they realize that there's going to have to be some sort of a charging network as well. That is going to have to traverse the interstates out there in order to make this a viable project to have semis be electrified across the country. So they had asked for proposals. Tesla put together their proposal for the MegaCharger, which of course is the charger that charges the Tesla Semi. And they had submitted to the Biden administration a group of 9 different stops across the country that span from basically Laredo, Texas, all the way over to, I guess that would have been Los Angeles area, and then up to Fremont, California. So kind of obvious as to why they made that route. But that's something they submitted to the Biden administration. Unfortunately, the Transportation Department looked over the plan and have decided to deny it. They're not interested in funding it. So that was kind of interesting because I'm not sure of, there may be some other competitors that have submitted competitive bids for a network for the government to fund or help fund it. We'll have to see in the coming days if anyone else makes those things public. But at this point, I don't know of anyone else that submitted something. So yeah, Casey's got it on the screen here showing the 9 different chargers that they had spaced out. And of course, if you go to Laredo, you're probably within 300 miles of Gigafactory, Texas. So that would be, basically Gigafactory, Texas to Fremont, all the way, with stops along the way at intervals, and that would allow you to charge your Tesla Semi. So good news is that Tesla announced that the Biden administration declined their bid, but Tesla had indicated that they may still move ahead with this. And that just kind of makes sense because as the Tesla Semi starts to roll out to more companies right now, just 2 different companies have them. But Tesla definitely needs, who's the third one?
Tesla.
Oh, okay. All right. That's kind of a fake one. Okay. All right.
2 outside companies.
Yeah, exactly. But Tesla does need a demonstration route to show others that interstate trucking is definitely possible with the Semi. The charge rates are real. The timing is real as to how long it takes to charge the battery, and the batteries are redundant in the fact that they can take a charging over and over and continue to travel and not overheat and run in the Southwest where it is hot and still have a driver that's comfortable in air conditioning and able to pull the loads. All that kind of stuff combines into a demonstration, and the MegaCharger route is an integral part of that. They have to have something like this.
Also to show that that it actually charges within the legally required stop times. You got your mandatory break and your mandatory overnight time. And if they can show that they don't lose any time, like the truck is literally waiting on the driver, that will go to prove a lot of naysayers wrong, a lot of skeptical people who haven't put their deposit down yet.
Exactly.
And that's about naysayers. It's the customers they're after.
And it's something that the trucking industry, certainly a number of people are watching this like a hawk. They see, of course, the trucking industry is all about fuel costs because
Yeah.
that works into the cost of moving goods per mile. They know they're fleet operation people. They know how much the trucks cost to maintain and fuel and repair. And if someone can build a better truck, one that's going to cost them less to actually physically drive, one that's going to cost them less in maintenance and repairs, then the industry will be all over it. Many people will be all over it that are in the industry because they're bean counters. They know exactly how much money these things cost, and they know if a vehicle can save them in a couple of different categories, that is big profits for them that they're able to pull in per mile because these trucks do run day and night in some cases. In some cases, there are team drivers where one sleeps and the other drives to get expedited service across the U.S. So putting on miles on these big rigs is something that they're very familiar with, and they're very familiar with the cost of operating them and maintaining them as well.
Yeah. I'm curious though if they roll these things out with this route, if that will also be when they do their trial sleeper cab, because as it is right now, to go from jump seat to driver's seat and then do your swaps, jump seat, while being a lot
Yeah.
more comfortable than most others, it doesn't look like one that you can actually sleep in.
No, it doesn't. But what's interesting with the Tesla Semi as it's set up is that it doesn't take much to go to a slightly larger cab, or even modify the interior of the current one. Yes, it's designed as a day cab currently, but they have demonstrated that there is a sleeper cab available to them if they wish to employ it. So I think that would definitely be coming if you were to open up this type of road. Now, another thing that could be shown, and I've got a different map that I can share as well. Let me just grab that for you. Here we go. You're seeing that?
Yeah.
So another thing that they could also think about is if they don't want to roll out the initial 9 stops at the beginning, certainly why would you not cover between Fremont and Compton at least in between in between, or push it to Giga Nevada. Although the distance is less than 300 miles, having one as a demonstration between Fremont and Nevada might be of interest. Or just run the first MegaCharger line like they did with superchargers from the San Francisco Bay Area down into Los Angeles area. That makes a lot of sense.
And then at this point, I can see Pepsi using it. They don't need it right now, but I can see them using it because it's available.
Yep, if they knew it was available, they may use some of their fleet to go on the longer hauls, and of course that's what Tesla wants them to do as well. Now that they're familiar with the Pepsi fleet running regionally, I'm sure that having some longer trips where there's a stopover and charge and a 30 or 35-minute wait as the vehicle charges, they'd like to see how it operates on the second leg. I am positive of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the line here that they've shown with the 9 different chargers. Another thing that we talked about is that since the amount of Tesla semis that have actually been delivered are limited, and of course Tesla is the one that's limiting the sale of these things. They're trying
Yes.
to collect all the data they can before they start making them in mass. You could only have to install maybe a couple of mega chargers at each site. You don't necessarily have to put 8 of them in like you do with the cars as a minimum, because of course the number of trucks out there, the companies you're selling them to, and what lines they are going to be running the trucks on, and of course they're going to stick to the route that you put in place anyways. So maybe that's part of the plan is to build a route that the most number of companies that could take advantage of it, that you want to collect the data from. Those are the companies you aim this at.
So, do you see the companies that are going to be first at this? Are they gonna just soak up the profits, or are they gonna lower their price so their competitors can't keep up, but also higher than their actual cost, so they still make a profit, but they now have a competitive edge?
Yeah, yeah. I think in the trucking industry is a highly competitive industry. I see this all the time in my day job that they're always looking for ways to cut their costs and to have a little bit of an advantage over their competitors when it comes to the pricing that they put out there. So, if someone had the ability to eliminate gasoline, or I'm sorry, diesel fuel from their budget and be able to pick up electricity at somewhere in the area of let's say a 60 to 70% discount on the fuel that you would use, I have a feeling that initially they would keep prices the same, but it wouldn't take long before they maybe take some of that profit and roll it into more competitive pricing to undercut competitors that they know would not be able to keep up with them because of the limited amount of of Tesla semis that are on the road.
Hmm. It'd be fun to watch, that's for sure.
Yeah, and we were talking before the show started that we would definitely see the advantage of allowing a few more companies into the semi ownership and, of course, tracking. One, for Tesla to take a look at how it's operating in some different areas that maybe follow the spine of their megacharger. Two, you would have more vehicles traveling more different routes with different company names on the sides of those vehicles, reaching more delivery spots, reaching more truck stops. The buzz of the vehicle would increase exponentially as you push this out. And of course, that's going to get more people trying to buy the truck. And of course, Tesla maybe doesn't want to roll out many of them. We heard in the earnings call this week or last week that Tesla was going to keep the numbers fairly stagnant. They are, yes, there are now two, or as Casey says, three companies that are using it, but it doesn't sound like they're going to be moving that much further from that in this year. They're still now talking 2025 for a more production of the vehicles. They're still going to be putting updates out and replacing vehicles that they're maybe have iterated out of a certain model, but it sounds like it's not moving as quickly as we would have liked to see it. But I think even with companies lining up to buy it, that's a much better situation to be in than
Yeah.
people not knowing it exists or that it even is an option, or prompting someone to look into it because they know they are now on the roads. And what is this new vehicle? What is its capability? How much does it cost to fuel an electric vehicle over a standard diesel truck? All those
Yeah.
questions are good ones to have for fleet operators out there to investigate and see on their own how electrification could help them.
Yeah, I'm sure all the families that can't move out of the areas with these larger roads that also have the air quality warnings day after day during the summer, they definitely appreciate having more of these out there because that many more clean breaths you get to take in the day.
Exactly. Having a semi drive around the inside of a city just becomes a joy because you're not producing any pollutants that's being left in the community.
Yeah, noise,
It just drives
fog.
in silently, and it does its load and unload, and it's off again. And you're not getting the black stacks blowing pollution in and around the neighborhoods they drive through.
Yep. The only thing they have to worry about at that point is rubber dust and brake brake material dust. But even the brake material situation is reduced if something like the Tesla where it's got strong regen, but even the others that might not be built to the same level of competitiveness on the electric side, they still use less brakes as long as they've got
Yeah.
regen.
So this is all speculation, but I would think that if obviously Tesla's serious about the MegaCharger route that they put out there.
Yeah.
They had built it, obviously connected their factories. and it gave them an advantage that they've now got a electric highway between two of their largest factories. So my opinion would be Tesla, go ahead and spend the money. Put a couple of mega chargers in at each of these 9 sites. Maybe start with 5, maybe, but do the full 9. Put a couple in at each one, and then look at your list of reservation holders and add a few too that are along the line or will travel those lines and make use of the new mega charger network. It's something that I think will pay dividends. Even if you've got more people waiting, I think that's a better problem to have than people not knowing about it. You're advertising for yourself, and you're not paying for advertising. So go ahead, move this out, spend some money on some infrastructure, and start to get these vehicles out in people's hands.
So do you see this becoming a situation like the original superchargers, where there are competitors, but they don't really actually exist on the grand scheme of things?
What do you mean they don't exist?
I mean, they exist, but when you ask a customer, "Hey, where can you go? What's the best way to do it?" and anyone who doesn't own one of those other cars that's already tied to the other network, they're going to tell you superchargers. And
Right.
any Tesla owner is going to say, "Yeah, superchargers."
I hope there's a standardization right out of the gate. Like there are other electric vehicles out there that are class 8 and class 6 trucks. They do exist.
Yeah,
Some of the legacy automakers, Peterbilt, Mack, Freightliner, Volvo, all these guys are working on electric trucks. I was at a truck show this past week in Toronto, Ontario, and every one of the manufacturers that was on display had an electric vehicle. Some of them weren't a class 8, which of course is the top class, the heaviest hauler. Some of them had the medium ones and not the class 8s, but a couple of them had the class 8s. So this is coming everywhere. All the manufacturers are going to be involved with this. They probably have seen the writing on the wall based on what happened with regular cars, and what's starting to happen with pickup trucks. They're seeing that this is happening, so they're getting involved with it. I hope that they all get together and pick the one standard so that charging can be done at any of the chargers, because of course there's going to be less of them on the road initially. So hopefully they will pick the standard together with Tesla, and they will move ahead all unified with the same charging plug.
definitely the charging standard, but I was meaning like versus the competition of charging networks that are compatible. Or at least they are now.
Well, I got to believe that based on what we've seen with Tesla recently, where they're starting to open their network to all different brands, that's starting to roll out. I would think that if the vehicles are compatible to charge on them, why would you not open it all to all brands?
Right. And then do we see them take a substantial lead because of their reliability and their cost advantages and their expertise?
Yep, I definitely see that happening because if they build the mega chargers anywhere near to how they build the superchargers, the reliability is going to be off the scale. And of course, if you're making money with your vehicle and you pull into a location that has a charger that's not working or doesn't charge up to spec, man,
Yeah.
you are going to be really peed off that that thing is not working the way it should, because now it's losing you money.
So yeah, like minute 15 extra. They've taped a large warning label to the next driver
Exactly.
to the front of the station.
Yeah. So, and of course, with the lack of those chargers, you're going to have to, it could be a real bad day that you have to stay there at a slower charge because there's no other place to go. You can't go down the road and pick up the next charger because it doesn't exist yet. So, well, with that, what do you think should happen with the Tesla and MegaCharger? Is there something that you believe? Do you think these 9 are viable? Is there a different route that you believe would be more viable? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. And while you do that, please give us a thumbs up on the video, press that subscribe, help us out. And yeah, we'll throw fireworks your way every time. So we really appreciate that. If you you also would like to watch another show, of course, coming up Wednesday is our live show. So feel free to subscribe, ring that bell, and of course, we will notify you every time a new video is released, even if it's a live or recorded show. So
In 2 days.
exactly, exactly. With that, Casey, any shoutouts?
That's what I was gonna say. See you on Wednesday.
Very good. Talk to you later, everyone. Have a great evening.